Okay, so today we're starting right triangles, unit 7. So we're over the halfway point. This unit is our last triangles unit. Okay, after that, I think we go to circles to double check. Today's notes, I know you guys have seen before, Pythagorean theorem. You guys remember that word? All right, you've seen it since probably Math 8. But there's also parts of this that you have not seen. So some of this may seem easy and some of it may be a little challenging. But this first lesson is very important so you can understand once we get to the harder stuff next class. All right, so the Pythagorean theorem means the largest side of a triangle is across from the right angle which is called the hypotenuse. You absolutely need to know what that word is and what it means. The remaining sides of a right triangle are called the legs. So if you look at this picture, you can see this right triangle there. A is like our short leg. B in this picture is our long leg. And C is our hypotenuse. What you need to know is that when we do our equations, A and B don't matter. Okay, we just need to make sure that we understand what C is. A and B are interchangeable. So this means that A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. The hypotenuse is always directly across from the right angle. So, find the value of x and express your answer in simplest radical form. You can also write it as a decimal. Yes, we did learn simplest radical form, but if you give it to me as a decimal, that's okay too. And actually, most of these I'll probably leave in the decimal form. All right, look at number 1. We have a right triangle, sides of 9, 12, and x. Which one will be my hypotenuse? Yes. Go ahead and label that C. We always label our pictures. And put that away. Alright, so I typically like putting the smaller number as A and my bigger number as B. But honestly, it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. So, my equation is A squared plus B squared equals C squared. When we do this, initially we're going to put our numbers in parentheses. Later you'll see why we do that, but for now we're just going to write 9 squared plus 12 squared is equal to x squared. We're putting everything in parentheses. What is 9 squared? 81. What about 12 squared? Which equals x squared. Now I just have a regular equation. What is 81 plus 144? Just make sure you're typing this into your calculator. If you wait until I do it, you're never going to understand how to do it on your own. Everyone should be typing this in. 289? Oh, sorry. 25. Alright, so now I have 225 is equal to x squared. What do I do if I want to get x by itself here? You're going to take the square root of each side. So that means my square and my root are gone, and I'm left with x equals, the square root of 225 is 15. That's your answer. We plug in, we combine like terms, we take the square root, we solve for x. All right, Kenzie, look at number 2. I have 7, x, and 9. Which one is my hypotenuse? 9. Good. So let's call that 7. Or sorry, let's call that b. All right, what do you want to mark a and b? 7a. All right, and x is b. That works. Okay, so I'm going to write out my equation. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. That a is 7 squared. B is x squared. C is 9 squared. Putting everything in parentheses until I solve. All right, what is 7 squared? 49 plus x squared is equal to, plus 9 squared, just 81. How do I solve for x here? Minus 49. Subtract 49. Subtract 49. X squared is equal to what? That's 81 minus 49. 32. Alright, so if I look at my calculator, we're going to take the square root of 32. If I take the square root of 32, look at that number. It's a decimal, right? Let's round it. Let's round it to the 10th spot. So let's just, first decimal. So 5.65, that 5 tells my 6 to do what? Go up to 7. So we have 5.7. You can leave it like that. If you wanted to do your factor ladder and make it a simplified radical, you could. But I'm not requiring you to do that. You can just leave it as a decimal. Any questions on 1 and 2? All right, let's look at number 3. Joseph, what's your hypotenuse?
My hypotenuse? Pick a number.
So there's 4, there's 18, and there's x. Which one is your hypotenuse?
4.
Your hypotenuse is your longest side directly across from the right angle.
18.
This is your hypotenuse. Label that C. That is the most important part of this lesson, guys, is finding the hypotenuse.
So my hypotenuse is right across from the right angle.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's say 4 is A, this side is B. All right, so for A, I have 4 squared. For B, I have x squared. C, I have 18 squared. Guys, are you playing music? You hear music from both sides of the room. Fabio, is your music on? Turn it off. There's no way that you guys can learn this just by copying the words. All right, 4 squared is what? 16 plus x squared is equal to, what's 18 squared? 324. All right, now what? How do I solve for x? So we're left with x squared is equal to what? It was 324 minus 16. 308. Aaliyah, what's the square root of 308? Hold on, Aaliyah's going. Get it, Aaliyah? Taking the square root of 308. You type in square root of 308 and enter. You should get 17.54, so on and so on. So let's round this to the nearest 10. We're going to write 17.5. That's my answer. Use it completely off. On number 4, what is my hypotenuse? This is my C. What do you guys want to call A? 6. What about B?
4.
Or Y? This is where you'll see why it is important to leave it in your parentheses. So if I have the square root, 6 squared plus B squared equals C squared. What do we get for 6 squared? 36. Y squared is just that. What's the square root of 85 squared? It's just 85. If you guys look at this problem here, the square and the 85 cancel out. The square and the square root cancel out. So you are only left with 85. If you do not put that in parentheses, you will not see that and your whole answer will be wrong. So let's take a look at it here. Let's say that you do parentheses square root of 85 parentheses square root of 85 you have to scroll over, close your parentheses, and then you square it, and you'll get the correct answer. So you should get 85. How do I solve the rest of this, Lula? Subtract 36. 44. So we have y squared is equal to 49. And then the square root. What's the square root of 49? Y equals 7. I want you guys to do number 5. Figure out what your hypotenuse, figure out what your legs are, A and B. All right, Izzy, on number 5, what is your hypotenuse? We have x square root of 7 is square root of 19. Which one, well, your hypotenuse is your longest side. The longest side right across the right angle, right? So this is C. You can call X A and square root of 7B. A and B are interchangeable. So we have A squared plus B squared equals C squared. My A is X squared. B is square root of 7 squared. C is square root of 19. Did you guys at least get that far? Did you get this far? Alright, so we have X squared plus what? What is the square root of 7 squared? It's just 7. What about the square root of 19 squared? It's 19. Now we have a regular problem. So we can solve it like a regular problem. How do I get X squared by itself? I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. And we're left with X squared is equal to 12. What is the square root of 12? What did you get? You got 5. That works for me. Any questions here? All right, let's do number 6 together. Which side is my hypotenuse? 12x or 6 root 5? 6 root 5 is my hypotenuse. Okay, this one's also a little tricky. So I had x squared plus b squared is going to be equal to 6 root 5 parentheses squared. So if I solve this, x squared is just x squared. 12 squared is 144. In your calculators, type in, and for you guys, you may have to do 2 parentheses, depending on how good your calculator is. But you do parentheses 6 times radical 5. When you guys type in 5, if parentheses pops up, then put another parentheses. If it looks like this, just scroll over and put your parentheses. And then square. You should get 180. Is anyone in class getting 180? Yeah, if you get 30, let me know. Okay, so after the first parentheses after 5, put another parentheses and then do square. So do square root, first parentheses, 6, square root, 5, parentheses, parentheses again, and then square. Because it's not showing, this one's a little different, like the 5 I could scroll out, but in your calculator it makes you have to put 2 parentheses. If you're getting 30, put 2 parentheses after the 5, that'll fix the issue. You should take 30. What do I do from here? Got 144. What do we get? 136? It's 36, right? So what does x equal? X equals 6. What is the square root of 36? 6. Any questions here? All right, now we're going to do our word problems. Look at number 7. Turn the page. It says, a painter lays a 15-foot ladder against the house. The base of the ladder is 5 feet from the house. how high on the house does the ladder reach? So I'm going to draw my house. Drawing a picture just makes it a little bit easier. It says the painter laid a 15-foot ladder, so this is the ladder, against the house. The base of the ladder was 5 feet from the house. They want to know how high up is my right angle. There's my triangle. Ashley, which of these numbers, 5, 15, or x, what's my hypotenuse? 15, that's my longest side. So that's C, you can call 5A XB, or you can flip-flop. Alright, so A, I got 5 squared. D, I have x squared. And C, I have 15 squared. What's 5 squared? 25. 25 plus x squared is equal to, what is 15 squared? 220. At this point, we're just doing regular algebra. How do I solve for x squared?
2 minus 25.
Yep, let's subtract 25 from both sides. So I'm left with x squared is equal to 200. Michael, what do I do from here? How do I get x by itself? Take the square root of both sides. In your calculator, tell me what is the square root of 200? 14.1? Alright, we're going to skip number 8. I like 9 and 10 better. Look at number 9. It looks like I have a rectangle, but I can see that they have created a triangle within the rectangle. So let's label what we can. I know that this side is x, this side is 15. What's this bottom side here going to be? How do we know it's 12? Because it's a rectangle, so my top and bottom are equal, my sides are equal. Alright, Kenzie, which one is my hypotenuse? 15 is my hypotenuse. Good. So I have A and B. So my A is x squared. B is 12 squared. And C is 15 squared. Alright, so x squared is just what it says. 12 squared gives me what? 44. And 15 squared? Did you learn your perfect squares, Joseph? Did you type it in or you do it by heart? By doing it? Good. Alright, so if I subtract 144, what is 225 minus 144? 81? And the square root of 81 gives me. Alright, let's look at number 10. A walkway forms one diagonal of a square playground. So here's my square playground. My diagonal is here. How long is my diagonal? 24 meters. Yeah, that's 24 meters long. It says to the nearest meter, how long is the side of the playground? This is an SOL question that they love to use. When we have to find the Pythagorean theorem of a square, on a square, each side is equal, right? We can still find the Pythagorean theorem of that. Here's my right angle. Which one is my hypotenuse?
24.
24. So A and B, even though they're the same, that's okay. So I have x squared plus x squared is equal to 24 squared. So x squared plus x squared is equal to, what is 24 squared? 576. This is where you guys seem to forget the concepts of math. X squared plus x squared gives me what? Don't say x to the fourth. Nope, that's only if we're multiplying, right? That's when we add our exponent. I have how many x squares? 2x squared, yeah. I don't know why that gives you guys something problem. It's a little sweeter. So we have 2x squared equals 576. Divide by 2. So x squared is equal to what?
280.
Alright, my last step is to take the square root of 288. What do you get for x?
16 point,
62.
because if we round to 10.
17.
Right, because 289 is a perfect square of 17, so it's close to 17, right?
Yeah.
So let's just do 17. Well, is it 16 point? What?
It's 16.97, so
I would just leave it as it is, 16.9. Because if you wrote 17, like if you rounded it up to 17, that's not necessarily true in this case, because 289 would be 17. But that's why it's so close. All right, we're going to take a 2-minute break, and then we're going to get started on part 2. All right, so Pythagorean triple. Pythagorean triple is a set of 3 positive integers that satisfy the equation a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Your question says, does the given set of numbers form a Pythagorean triple? Well, first, let's figure out what's going to be A, B, and C. Imagine that we have a triangle here based on our numbers. And 11, 3, 4, and 5, which one is my hypotenuse? 5. The largest side. That means that 3 can be A and 4 can be B. So if I have 3 squared plus 4 squared equals to 5 squared. I'm basically just plugging in those sides and I'm going to see if it works. In your calculator, let's type in 3 squared plus 4 squared. 3 squared plus 4 squared. What do we get? 25. So let's do our second part, which is 5 squared. Thank you. 5 squared, we get 25. Is that equal? Yeah, so this is a Pythagorean triple, because we have 25 is equal to 25. So we simply check that works. Let's look at number 12. Joseph, out of 24, 25, and 7, which one is my hypotenuse? 25. So this is C. And so we can say A is 7, B is 24. So my equation is 7 squared plus 24 squared is equal to 25 squared. In your calculators, type in 7 squared plus 24 squared. Just type it all in together. What'd you guys get? Huh? 625, alright, and then what is 25 squared?
67.
Alright, so this is equal.
Yeah.
Yes, that works. Thirteen, 14, and 15, which one is my hypotenuse? 15. I'm going to do A and B, just to be consistent. So 13 squared plus 14 squared is equal to 15 squared. We're going to see if this works. What is 13 squared plus 14 squared? 365. And 15 squared?
225.
225. This is equal to each other. So this would not be a Pythagorean triangle. I want you guys to do number 14. Now your hypotenuse, set up your equation. Michael, what did you get for your hypotenuse of 14?
15.
Did you say 5 was A?
Yeah.
5 squared plus 12 squared equals 13 squared. Did you get 169 is equal to 169? Get that? Okay, we have one last portion of this, and it is the converse of the Pythagorean theorem. Alright, so in the converse of the Pythagorean theorem, if c squared equals a squared plus b squared, then the triangle is a right triangle. If c squared is greater than a squared plus b squared, then the triangle is an obtuse triangle. And if c squared is less than a squared plus b squared, then the triangle is an acute triangle. Alright, so determine if a triangle can be formed with the given lengths. We're also going to check to see that it even is a triangle. If it is, you're going to classify the triangle as right, acute, or obtuse. Alright? So, 7, 20, and 12. If you guys remember this, what we did before was we took our two smaller numbers to see if it was bigger than our largest number. What's my two smaller numbers?
7 and 12.
So if I add 7 and 12, is it greater than 20? No. Because 19 is greater than, or 19 is not greater than 20. So, if you ever have to write no, then you stop there.
We do like when it's
We're going to get there. Alright, so look at number 2. We have 8, 10, and 12. Is this a triangle? That's my first step. How do I know if it's a triangle or not?
Okay. 12 plus 3.
If I do 8 plus 10, is that greater than 12?
Yes.
Yes, so it is a triangle. Right? That's part 1. Make you guys push your stuff away, as if I've already not passed this class. Quite ridiculous. All right, 12, 10, and 8. This is the part that gets confusing. We want to see whether it is acute, right, or obtuse. In order to do that, your hypotenuse goes first. What's my hypotenuse? 12. All right, and we're going to square it. So we can say that this is C, this is A, and that is B. So I'm going to do 8 squared plus 10 squared. What is 12 squared?
144.
What is 8 squared? Plus 10 squared is 100. I have 144 and I have 164. Which number is greater? So I'm basically saying 144 is less than 164. Would that be right, acute, or obtuse? If it's less than, your hypotenuse is less than the other two sides. So let's look back here. It's going to be acute. So what did you get for the square root of 8? 2.2 something? Okay. So which one is going to be your hypotenuse? The 6. All right, but first let's see if it's a triangle. We're going to take our two smaller sides, so square root of 8 plus 4. Is that greater than 6? Yes, right? You get like 6 point something, right? So this will be a triangle. My next step, my board is cracking me off on me. My next step is we're basically going to flip it. We're going to put our hypotenuse first. Six squared gives me 36. If you type this into your calculator, what do you get? 4 squared plus square root of 8 squared. You should get 24. Which one is bigger, 36 or 24? 36. So that means 36 is greater than 24, so we can classify it as obtuse. The last one we're doing is number 4. We have 15, 8, and 17. I can do this part in my head. I know it's going to be a triangle because if I add 8 and 15, is that greater than 17? Yes. So now I'm going to see what I can classify it as. Which one is my hypotenuse, 15, 8, or 17? 17. All right, so we have 17 squared space 8 squared plus 15 squared. What is 17 squared? 289. All right, do 8 squared plus 15 squared. 289. All right, those numbers are equal, so would that be right, acute, or obtuse? It would be a right triangle because it satisfies a squared plus b squared equals c squared.